Hello, welcome to another video in the series on Centos Web Panel. Now, in the previous video, we were able to start on moving our sites, a webuzo site, from webuzo to Centos Web Panel. And the first thing that we did was to migrate a full site backup to an off-site storage. So what we just did in that video was we just used the test DigitalOcean account that we were using, and on that test DigitalOcean account we had an installation of Centos Web Panel as our test, and then we did a migration, a full site migration of our webuzo site to the DigitalOcean account, so that we have a preserved version or a preserved snapshot of our site on that DigitalOcean storage. Now, once we have that backup on our DigitalOcean storage, then the next thing we want to do is I want to do a reinstallation of our former sites. Okay, and in that video also we talked about the fact that you need to get a premium license for your CWP panel. That's a premium Softaculous license. So in this video I'm just going to quickly cover how you complete the migration process, and I will start by just trying to cover the parts where the screen was missing in the last video, where I said you need to get down the username of the account, the username of the account that you have currently on webuzo, and also to write down all the domains that you have on your webuzo account before you do a reinstallation of that your webuzo server. So let me just quickly look at what we have done so far. So we have this small checklist, and I want to believe that by now you have followed the last video and you should be around number 10. Okay, so you want to do a premium CWP license. Now I'm going to, in the next video after this, I'm going to show you how you can get and install your premium CWP license. Either you want to get by yourself or you want to use one of the bulk licenses that I currently have. Okay, if you want to use one of the bulk licenses that I currently have, you can just reach out and get one of the licenses. If you want to get the license by yourself, you can as well just go ahead and get the license by yourself. I'll show you what to do in the next video. And then we have created our backup, so we'll just start from around number 11 in this video, and then we'll just finish off the process. But before I do that, let me just show you one or two additional things that I did not really cover fully in the last video. So in the last video, I said that you can get a premium Softaculous license for 30 days. Okay, now you really don't need that Softaculous license except for the process of this move of your site. So you want to move your site to CWP license. Now when you come to your root account, remember there is a root account that's like a master account where you can see everything happening on your server, and then you have a user account that's for each of the sites that you host. Now when you come to this script installers here, instead of going directly to Softaculous, if you come to Scripts Manager, you would see where there's an option for you to get Softaculous. So Softaculous right now is installed, and I'm not going to do an uninstall. You would see a link here where it says you can get or you can activate 1 month free premium license. So when you go to activate that 1 month free premium license, you would see that you can see that the license has been issued successfully. So Right now, because I use this 1 month free premium license, you will notice that that license has now been issued, and you can see you can only get 1 month free premium license per IP address. So right now I have a full version of Softaculous, and if I go to Softaculous now, I should no longer see the notice that says I should come and get a premium license and all of that, because I already have a 1 month free premium license on my Softaculous account, and you can just use that to run your to use your site, and you can use that to do the restoration of your backup. So that's how to get a 1 month free Softaculous license. So you may not need to buy, you just get a 1 month free license and just use it. Okay, that's how to get it. And if by any chance that 1 month free license is not working, then you may proceed to just get a premium license here and just use that premium license to do the restoration of your server. But let me state here that when it comes to using your Centos Web Panel, you really don't need Softaculous. You don't need to add the monthly bill of Softaculous to your bills in order to use WordPress. Let me just quickly show you that. Now, if I go to the user account, mojoschool.club, let me go to the user account. That's mojoschool.club and /cpanel. I go to the user account. The username is mojo. The username is Mojo. Let me just grab the password. The username is Mojo. The password is the password. So I'll just quickly grab that and I'll log into that account very quickly. So the username is Jojo. And the password is... So I just log into that account. Now, when you log into your CWP user account, you would see that you don't need to have Softaculous license. Remember, all these licenses are not the same, okay? Softaculous is a company. The company that owns webuzo owns Softaculous. So if you buy a Softaculous license, you pay to the Softaculous company. If you buy a CWP license, you pay to CWP for your monthly pro license. If you purchase a web host, you are going to pay for your web hosting service. So you have your web hosting bills, you have your CW Pro license, then you have the Softaculous license. Now you don't need the Softaculous license to run basic sites or basic softwares. So if you log into the user end of your site and you go under add-ons, you would see that CWP automatically comes with a WordPress installer. So you can use that WordPress installer for free. And the add-ons, aside from having a WordPress installer for you, it has a PrestaShop installer, it has a Joomla installer, it has a Drupal installer. However, Softaculous has even more. Okay, Softaculous has even more. So if you go to the Softaculous installer here, you will notice that Softaculous installer gives you like over 200, 300 different scripts that you can use and you can install by using Softaculous. Okay, now the thing here is this: for most people, the only script they will use is probably WordPress, so they don't need to get a Softaculous account. But if you feel that you would be needing more than WordPress, then you can decide to pay Softaculous every month, and you want to use the Softaculous script installer by paying them a fee every month for your scripts. And you can see all of these things are there in the Softaculous installer for you. So when you purchase a Softaculous license that you pay monthly for, from this your root dashboard, from this Softaculous area, once you have Softaculous installed here, the money you pay to Softaculous, maybe it's $2, maybe it's 2.5, whatever money you pay from this your root account will give access to Softaculous for all your clients. So every account that you create would have access to Softaculous. That's the thing. So once they come here and they go to Softaculous, they have access to Softaculous. And if you already use webuzo, you would be familiar with using Softaculous. So if you want to do that, all of these scripts, all of these softwares are things that you'd have access to. And then you would also have access to some other things, like if you go to settings, you would see some additional stuff that Softaculous comes with. Okay, so the software is it's pretty very okay when it comes to scripts installation, and you may decide, okay, let me use it. So I'm just going to go back to the CWP panel here, and I would just stay there for the duration of the rest of the video. Now, when you have migrated your sites to the DigitalOcean account, remember I said you can now go back and format that you reinstall that your server, knowing fully well that your backup has been done. After you have reformatted that your DigitalOcean, sorry, not your DigitalOcean account now, I don't want you to miss this, I'm trying not to mix things up. So you've uploaded you've uploaded the content from your webuzo account to your DigitalOcean CWP account, which we saw in the last video. If you go to file management, you want to go to advanced, and you would see that backup will be there. So you go to home, you go to the account that you kept the account where you kept the backup, and then you go into your public directory. Let me just drop, and then you have your backup there. So once you have this backup, you can now go back to your webuzo account. Let me just go to that webuzo account very quickly, and let me just show you what I missed in the last video. So we have 2002. Now, what you want to do next is that you want to log into this your account, this your webuzo account. That's something I missed in the last video. Let me just quickly cover it. And in that webuzo account, you want to make sure that you write down the username of your webuzo account and also all the domains that are in that webuzo account. You want to make sure that you write everything down. So what you want to do is that you want to write down this username here. Very important. This username, write it down. After you write down this username, make sure also that you come to manage domains and take a note of all the domains that you have in your account. So write everything down. When you have done that and your backup is safely in your DigitalOcean tests account, you can now go and reinstall this server where you have webuzo. Now, when you reinstall the server where you have webuzo, everything on that server will go off. Everything. That's the whole point of reinstallation. And then you want to put back CentOS 7, and you want to follow the previous videos to now reinstall this server with CentOS Web Panel. Okay. Now, when you have reinstalled this server with CentOS Web Panel, what you would now do next is that you would now migrate your data from this your CentOS Web Panel that is on DigitalOcean back here. So in order to do that, what you want to do is that on this, now let's assume that I have now installed CentOS Web Panel on this server. It means I will now have two servers having Centos Web Panel. One will be on DigitalOcean, one will be on your main server. So what you now want to do is that on that your new installation, that's your main server where you were having webuzo before, but you now have Centos Web Panel. I'm trying not to mix all these things up so that it can be clear. I don't know if I'm communicating it clearly, but just try and follow. That's why I'm taking it a little bit slowly, and I'm trying to just cover it so that you don't mix things up. Now, on that new Centos Web Panel, which you have done on your Contabo or HostGator server, it's not DigitalOcean now, you will now have an installation of CWP. So what you want to do is that you want to create a user account. So you are going to make sure that you create a user account. Now, if you want to do that, when you are creating your packages, please make sure that the add-on domains that you give under your packages, when you are creating your packages, we talked about packages before, make sure that the add-on domain you are giving under your packages here gives enough of subdomains, okay? Gives enough of subdomains and enough of add-on domains such that the subdomains and the add-on domains that you have on this account will be accommodated in the new package that you are creating. So I would just recommend that you just give maybe like 5,000 so that you have enough and there is no problem when you are doing the restoration of your site. So what you want to do is that you want to create a new account on the CWP that you installed on this your server that was formerly webuzo. Now it is CWP. So you are now going to create a new user account, and you will make sure that the username of that account is the same username that you wrote down, IAS plus. So you will now create a domain. You just give it a domain name. That domain name would also be your primary domain. So on this place now, the primary domain, you can see the primary domain here is Be Web Employed. These are things that you want to note. So you make sure that the primary domain here also, when you want to create the user account, is the same thing as the primary domain that you had here. And then all these ones will now be add-on domains. So you make your primary domain to be the same. So you enter your primary domain here, and then you make sure that the username is the same username that you were using here, and you can use the same password. Okay, you can use the same password, and when you are done, just create that account. After you have created that account, you will see that that account will show up here under your home. You will have the same account here. So the next thing you now want to do is you want to follow through with the rest of the instructions that you have in your in the wiki. So if you go to that wiki, let me just quickly show you that. If you go to the wiki, that's this link right here. If you go to the wiki, let's just see what the instruction says. You are going to see some additional instructions that we need to now follow, and I covered that instruction in the okay good. So we want to use the Softaculous Premium migration here, and when you go to the wiki, you would see that move backup files to home, username, Softaculous backups. Okay, so under this username now, you are going to now move your backup there. So what you want to do is home, the username, and Softaculous backup. So let's just quickly do that very quickly, because that's the next thing we need to do. So let's just quickly do that. So what you want to do now is, I'm just going to copy this Softaculous backups, and what we want to do is home, username, Softaculous backup. So you go back to your Softaculous account, and you go back to your CWP panel account. That's the new installation, the one that is now on the former webuzo space, and then under your file manager you go to that account. So here we have that account, and if I click on this, you see that it drops down. So I'm just going to go to click on this IAS plus, which is the same username as the username here. So you have IAS plus. So you can see this now matches with the instruction. The instruction says home, username, then I do Softaculous backups. So here I'm going to just do home. You can see home here, the username, then / Softaculous backup. So if let me delete this so that I can just do it for you to see. I'm just going to delete that. Okay, so I have home, IIS plus. I need to create Softaculous backup directory. So I'm just going to do create directory here. And under the directory, I'm going to give it a name. That's the folder name. And I'm going to say save. And once I do that, you will now see that if I now go into this place, you can go in here by double clicking. If I double click on this, you can see that I now have the same structure that is recommended that I have here, which is home, the username, and then the Softaculous backups. You will find out that I now have that structure right here. Home, the username here, and then the Softaculous backups. So it's very simple. And if you go into home here, you can see IIS plus, and you can see home, the username, and then Softaculous backups, and that's where we are here. So you have home, IIS plus, Softaculous backups. So we have done this step here. That's step 3. We have done that. And if you look at the notes where I have all the instructions, you would see that if you go down to, I think, number 11 or thereabouts, you would see create a user account with the same name as previously on your webuzo account and create a folder Softaculous backups. That's what we just did. Now log into terminal. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to do this. But before we do this, let's follow the instructions and let's do one more thing. So here on the instructions, you have create add-on domains. Okay. So remember that webuzo is a single user account. So in one account, what you have in webuzo is that you have a primary domain and all your other sites will be hosted as add-ons. So what you want to do in your new CWP installation is that you want to go into the user, not the root now. You want to go into your user account. That user account where I showed you that the user account has WordPress already and then has Softaculous. You want to go into that user account, and then inside that user account, you want to go to do add-on domains. Okay, so let's look at domains and let's see if we can find the add-on domains. So once you click on domains, you would come to this section that lists all the domains that you have under this account. And this is where I was being particular that when you are creating the package, make sure that package can contain the number of domains that you have previously in your webuzo account. So for this account now, there are just 1, 2, 3 add-on domains. And this CWP account gives me a limit for 5 domains. So what you want to do now is that you want to create add-on domains and just add a new domain and then the domain. So I'm just going to give the domain. That's why I said write down all your domains. So you just get this domain, copy it, because if you don't write down your domains, when you do your site restore, you may have issues with your site restore. So I'm just going to do your add-on domain parts, add SSL certificate, yes, and then I'm just going to do save. So you just save the add-on domain. Okay. So what you want to do here is that you put in the domain name, okay, and then after the putting in the domain name, you click on path. Okay, if I do it here, it may not show because I think I have issues with pop-ups, so the pop-up may not show on the recording. But what you want to do is click on this path here. When you click on the path, what you want to do is that you want to put your add-on domains in your public_HTML directory. So just select public_HTML from the pop-up. And when you select public_HTML from the pop-up, just choose public_HTML as the current path. So you will see public_HTML will be chosen, okay, for you. And then let's just do save and let's see if that works. Okay, add SSL certificate, yes. And I want to add SSL certificate for all of this, everything. add SSL certificate for mail, for webmail, for FTP, and for cPanel. And let me just do a save and let's see if that will work this time around. So when you pick the public underscore HTML, you are maintaining the same structure that we had on your previous webuzo account. That's what we want to do. And you can now see that the domain has now been added, and then you have one domain here, which is your mail stand domain. So I'm going to just do that for the remaining domains, and this is why I specifically said that you should make sure that you write down all your domains, because if you don't write down all your domains, then at this point you will now have issues. So I'm going to pick the path as public again. Very, very important that you do that. So I'm going to pick the path as public again. Put it in the public directory. And I just want to choose the path, public directory, choose that path. And I'm just going to save that as before. So if you make errors at this point, since you still have your backup, you can decide to reinstall your server again and use that backup again until you get it right. The most important thing is that you make sure that your backup is still safe. So please don't delete your DigitalOcean account with your backup on it. If you do that, your site is gone. Please have that at the back of your mind. Okay, so I'm just going to let me quickly just add all the domains in the background. I'm just going to do that in the background so that the videos can speed up, and then I'll come back to continue. Okay, so I think there was a bit of an error in the first domain that I added. So if you want to add a domain, it's better you follow this format here. So what you want to do is that you add the domain name here, then you choose public underscore HTML by selecting here, then just put the name of the domain and put it in front here. I think that's the structure that webuzo had. I just checked that, and then you save. Let me just quickly add the rest of the domains. So I have done this, I've done this now, and let me just quickly do this as well. So I'm just going to copy this as well, and I'm just going to add that too. I have two domains added. Let me add the third one. So under the domain, I put that, and then I'm going to do public. Make sure you pick public underscore HTML at this point so that things work fine. I pick public here, and I choose path. Now you may not see the pop-up like I said, but just leave it. So what I do is I pick public underscore HTML / and I just put the name of the domain again. So I do this, and then I just save. So that's the free domain, and then I'm going to repeat that for the first domain that I did before. That's the mail stance. Remember, the primary domain now will be this be web employed. I talked about that earlier, and that will be the user account. So here I have this mail stand. I'm just going to delete this and do it again so that it would take the same format like the rest. So I'm just going to delete and wait for that delete to complete, and then I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to do this. I'm going to select the path, and I want to make it public. So I'm picking public, and then I choose that as the current path. Okay, and then I also put this domain in front of it. I choose to add SSL certificate. Give me SSL certificate for all of this, and I just save. Okay, so you are going to see an error right now because all these domains are not pointed to the server. Now, since you are back on your webuzo server now, you don't need to change any DNS or anything, because the IP address of that your server will remain the same. So all the domain configurations that you did before will just automatically point back to this server. And then I have so I have all the domains 1, 2, 3, and I have 1, 2, 3, and then this will now be the primary domain of that server. So when you have done this, then we can now let's just look at the instruction once again. If you go to this instruction, you'll see that we have now created the add-on domain. So we have done the first, we have done the second, then this is the last stage where we now do a reinstallation of our backup. But remember, the backup is not on this server now. The backup is currently on our DigitalOcean server. So how do we pick this backup from our DigitalOcean server and migrate it back to this server? So what we just do is that we just do a server to server talk once again. So it's very simple. What you want to do first is that you want to go to the location where you kept the backup in the first place. So you want to pick that location. So in the first place, I picked this Jojo as the backup on DigitalOcean. So what you want to do is that you want to go to your backup location, which is right here on this 2020. Okay, so you want to go to that backup location and you want to copy the address of this site. So the site, you want to copy the link to this site, and the link to this you want to copy the link to this backup, and the link to this backup is simply your home, which is the site. That will be mojoschool.club. So home means the site, which is mojoschool.club. Mojo School. So when you say home/public, what you are saying is mojoschool.com. So these three, home, Jojo, public, goes to mojoschool.club. So the three is captured there. / then the folder, which is 2020-07-28. So we go to the folder 2020-07-28. Am I correct? 2020-07-28. Then we now pick the name of the file. So I'm just going to copy the name of the file. Let me see if I can get the name of. So you can just right click on the file name, just right click, and then just copy the name of the file. So I'm just going to copy the name of the file, and I want to test to see that I can download this. Okay, I want to test to see I can download it. So what you want to do now is that you make sure that the permission here is 644. Okay, this permission is 644. If it's not 644, let's assume you find out that the permission is something else like this. Right now the permission is 777. So if you discover change permission, okay, just to let you see, if you discover that the permission here is not 644, just click here and just change the permission to 644. So right now we have the permission at 755. You can just change the permission to 644, which is going to be 6, and then 4 should be 4 and 4. So you want to make sure that the permission is 644. And once you change the permission to 644, you should be able to download that file. So you just come into your browser. This will be the link. Copy this link. Just copy it. You can put it in the notepad. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to quickly put that link in the notepad file so I can reference that link, because we are now going to use that link at this point. So let me just put it on point number 13 here. That's going to be the link. But let's test to see that the link is working. So to test that the link is working, I'm just going to put that link in my browser, and I'm just going to hit enter key to see if that link is working. And if that link is working, you would see that a download will start. But I don't want to do any download, so I'm just going to cancel the download. So once you see that a download starts, then it means that link is active. Okay, so the next thing you want to now do is that you want to go into your terminal. Let me just call up that notepad file again to show you. The next thing you want to do is that you want to log into your terminal. So you are going to call up your putty. When you call up your putty, you are going to go into your terminal, and then you are going to do this command wget, then the name of the site where you want to do your download from. So I'm just going to do http and this, and I'm just going to do wget. Okay, so let me just log into any of my terminals so that I can just show you how that works. So let me just log into any terminal in the background, and let me just show you how that works. So let me just quickly do that in the background. I'll be back shortly. So I have my putty, and my IP address. Let me get my IP address. Is so I have my IP address as this, and remember we changed the port to 2424. I'm going to change the port to 2424. I'm going to open, and that should give us a terminal. So let me just call up the terminal. Okay, that should give us a terminal. And you want to go yes. You want to log into our terminal as root. So we want to log into our terminal as root. So we go root, and we want to enter the password to the terminal. Remember, copy your password, and after you have copied your password, what you want to do is that you want to just right click once to paste the password. So I'm going to right click once, hit enter key, and now I am in my terminal. Now once you get into your terminal, remember what you want to do next is that you want to run a command. But before you run that command, let's look at what point number 12 says. So I'm just going to call up the notepad file again, and let's see. So 12 says that you should cd into home username Softaculous backups. So if you remember very well, what we did earlier was that we did that home Softaculous account on the server that we want to use. That's our Contabo or whatever server now. So what we'll do now, let me just quickly look at that. So what we did was we did home. This is where we are here. So we did home, IAS plus, then Softaculous backups. So in our terminal, we want to go to that directory. That's what we want to do next. So we are just going to navigate to that directory by doing, let's see, cd home. Let's first get into home so that you can see how it is done. So we go into cd home, no such file or directory. So let's do ls and see where we are. So we are here. What I want to do first is go out of this directory by doing cd double dot, then a slash. So we go out of this directory. Let's do ls, and then you can now see that we have home here. Okay, so we are just going to go into cd and we go into home. And when we are in home, let's do ls and see everything there. And you can see we have IAS plus, which is the one you just created, and Jojo. So we go into cd and we now say IAS plus. And now if you do ls, you will see everything inside IAS plus. You can now see your Softaculous backups, and then we can do cd into our Softaculous backups. So you just do cd into your Softaculous underscore backups, which is what we need right now. And if you do ls, there should be nothing inside that directory. So let me just go back again. So I'm just going to do cd. This will take me out of the Softaculous backup 1. I do another dot. This will get me back into the IAS. So the first one gets me back into IAS. The second one gets me back into home. And if I do ls, you'll see that I should be back here, and then I can just do cd and go out of that again. And if I do ls, I'm back where I started from here. So instead of doing all these one by one, I can just go directly by saying cd home, the username, which is IAS plus, and then I go and say Softaculous underscore backups, and that will take me exactly to the same point where I was by doing it one by one. The reason why I did it one by one is so that you can just follow it easily. So if I go in here now, you can see, okay, saying I have a new mail. That's when you run a command like that. If you have a mail, you will get this notice that you have a mail. So I'm back in that Softaculous directly, and if I say ls, you will see there's nothing inside that Softaculous directory. Now, once you get into this directory, you can now download your backup back to this place. All you need to do is just do biget. Biget will help you download. That's a command, and then you now put the the link, that download link, you now put it in there. So I'm just going to get that download link that we kept just now. So I'm just going to get that download link. The download link. So the download link is this link that we just kept, which is this HTTP up to this. Okay, that's a full backup, and I'm just going to come back to my terminal and I'm going to just paste that link. So just right click once to paste the link, and you can now see I'm doing widget HTTP blah 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 blah. And what I want to do is I want to click enter, and once you click enter like that, you will see the download happening in the background. So you will see the download will just happen. It happened just so fast now that you can see that just happened. You see the full site backup. It was so fast, and that's the whole thing I talk about when you do server to server downloads. You can see 429 megabytes was just downloaded now. So it's as fast as that. So you can just see in 3.1 seconds, you can see it downloaded at 159 megabytes per second. You can imagine, that's crazy. The download happened at 159 megabytes per second. If you wanted to do that in Nigeria, you probably would be getting just like 200 or 500 kilobytes per second. So you just downloaded in a matter of 3.1 seconds, you downloaded a 400 megabyte file. So you see that download will happen. And when you now go into that IAS backup folder, you would see that the file has been copied. Let's just see that. So if you now go to the IAS folder, which is here, IAS, you would see there's nothing here now. If I do a refresh by just clicking on it one more time, you would see that the backup has been replicated here. So after the backup has been replicated here, the next thing you want to do is just to finish up your site restoration. So you just go back and then you just do this last command, which is to restore your backup through Softaculous restore functionality. So all you just need to do now is go into the user account. That's the same place where you created your domains. Let's just go to the dashboard and go to our script installer. You can also come to script installers from here. We just go to our dashboard, we go to our script installer, and then we just do a restore of our site. It's as simple as that. So you just do a restore of your site from there, and once you do a restore of your site, everything would work fine, and it's as simple as that. So you may need to just take your time with these videos. It's not difficult. It looks difficult, but it's not difficult. Once you can do it once, you will discover that it's not difficult at all, but it would require that you be patient. And once you are here, what you want to do once you get to this Softaculous is that you want to come to this button here that says backups and restore. So just click on that, and when you click on that, it should give you a place where you can do a restoration of your site. So when you click on backups and restore here, it will give you that place where you can do a restoration of your site. So once you come here, you would see that your backup here. Now the reason why we are not seeing it here is because I am doing this test in the JoJo account. I'm not doing it in the IAS account. If I did the test in the IAS account, then you would see that backup here, and all you just want to do is click on it and do a restoration. And once you do a restoration, just test your sites, test your emails, test your domains, test everything, make sure everything is working fine. And that is that about doing a backup or doing a move of your site from your current webuzo site to your CWP account. And once you do that, your site should be moved, there should be no problems, and you should be good to go. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.